Okay, Mark, your new record, The Black Crown, will be released on July 12th. Are you nervous yet?
No, not really. More anxious just to have people hear it and get it out so everyone can, make their judgments, good or bad, whatever they want to think.
So Mitch stated in an interview that it's more focused on groove rather than on speed.
Sure.
And what's the reason for the different approach now?
I don't know. I just try not to do the same thing over and over again. And I think we could easily put out a record that sounds like No Time to Bleed again if that was what we wanted to do. But just listening back to the way that that record turned out, I think the fat of the record, if that's the way that I'm describing it, would be the blast beat parts and the just kind of the stuff that we looked at more as filler, because it's kind of like just go-to riffs that we can put together. And with this, it's like we wanted everything to be more thought out, and just putting it together, it turned out the way that it is. It's not really like we tried so hard not to be fast or play as many blast beats. It's just this is what happened, and this is how it came out. So basically, I mean, we're really proud of it, and we think it's the best thing that we've ever done. And it's just the way that we wrote this record, and it's our natural progression, I guess.
Okay, Steve Everts produced the record. How was it working with him rather than with Machine?
Well, Steve is really, really organic and really natural, and really wants real tones and real sounds, and that's what we wanted too. And we kind of jumped like 25 steps forward recording with Machine and making everything so the way that we were saying it in the studio is we were programming the human. We were programming the human aspects of the band into it, which isn't really us. Like we're all a part of writing the music, and the way that it comes out is like all of our influences come together into the way that we sound. So I think we just we took the calculatedness of the writing process for No Time to Bleed, step forward a little bit, and with the recording process we kind of stepped back a little bit, but in a more of the way that Suicide Silence was intended to be in the beginning, whereas like we recorded the Cleansing 100% live. So it's like this, all the sounds are our live sounds. Like when you come and watch us, the gear we're using live is what we recorded with, where it's not the case on No Time to Bleed. And Machine's great though. Like still, Machine, it was amazing to work with. But the way I still say it, he's like a sci-fi producer. He's like lives in the future, and it's cool as fuck. And he works really well, and he has great vision and has like this pizzazz that's super cool. But Steve is just kind of more our kind of producer, where if something sucks, you can tell that he's like, that fucking sucks, like play it better, or like you guys need to do something different here, or he was just more blunt, more organic, more natural.
So is there like a formula that your songs take form?
A formula? You mean like the structures of the songs, or
the approach to songwriting? How does it usually?
It usually starts with one riff, like literally just one thing that's like an idea, and it's pretty easy, I think, to listen to the songs and be like, oh well, that was definitely the riff right there that grew into all these other riffs that became this structure. But sometimes we'll have like just a jam sesh where like we'll all be playing together and we're recording it, and then we go back and listen to it, and there's just so much stuff going on that we don't really know how to make of it, because we're all just kind of spontaneously playing things, and then we'll pick it apart and like move it around, and we'll just like put it into a file where it's like we'll name the riff like Sepultura E thrash, and we'll say like could be, and then put in quotes like verse / bridge. Like, we don't know if that's going to be a verse or if it's going to be a bridge, but it's definitely not a chorus. It's definitely not, an intro, or it's definitely not like the main, or it's, we'll just name it, figure out what it is, what we think it might be. We might be wrong about it, but it's just the initial, how it goes. And we'll just take everything and kind of dissect it and pick and choose how we want to structure the riffs. And a lot of the times the structures don't come out of pure jam, but there's been songs where it's like, this might sound cocky or whatever, but it's like some of our most famous songs that people really like, if you want to call them famous, are songs that were written in like 2 hours or 3 hours, just because it's like the riffs are so easy and so natural. Like Unanswered, wrote that song in like 3 hours. No Pity for a Coward was written in probably like 6 hours. And then like Disengaged was written in 3 hours before we left to go fly to New Jersey to record the record. And then on this new record, a song called OCD, I think it's number 2 on the record. That one, we wrote that the day before we went in the studio again, and both were tentatively called Disengage, and OCD were both we called Rush Delivery. But that's just a tentative title because we're like, let's just write another song, because we didn't really have anything else to work on, and we had one more day before we went in the studio, and we just jammed it out. And so yeah, I don't know, we just kind of go with however it works.
Cool.